Welcome to 17 Strong. Victories don't come by accident. Here's your host, Steve Teixeira.
Thanks, Andy. Welcome to another 17 Strong podcast. I'm your host, Steve Teixeira, with my beautiful wife, Holly.
Hey.
We're back at it. This time away from the road. We're
home for a change. I like it.
It's kind of nice.
Nice. I agree.
So we've talked about this before in our other podcasts that we do a scholarship.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do.
Right. It's not associated with 17 Strong, although we market it through 17 Strong and everything.
Well, 17 Strong and Ryan kind of just go together.
They do.
Right?
They do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the scholarships is at Colorado Mesa University.
Yep.
And the other one is through Arroyo Grande High School, where he went to high school.
That's right.
And
I think that one's super special too, because we isn't funded by 17 Strong. It's funded by us. And those are Ryan's birthday and Christmas presents. And it makes me feel a little bit better that we get to do this for somebody else. And I love doing it.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And I really like meeting the people who are the recipients. You and I don't get to pick those people.
That's right, because they can't even apply, remember?
Right. This is all picked by coaches, the athletic department, and everything else. And it's people that most exemplify what Ryan stood for, what Ryan worked at.
His leadership
on and off the field, and everything. So we are fortunate to have one of our recipients. This year it went to two different people.
Yep.
But we have one of them with us today. Would you like the honors?
I would. I would like to introduce to you Riley Osborne.
Yes.
And her mom, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And would you just
having us.
Yes, absolutely. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats. I just want you to start by maybe just telling us a little bit about yourself, where you went to school, how many brothers and sisters you have, and where you plan to go to college and all that fun stuff that's coming up in a new chapter of your life. So go ahead and start.
Well, I have a little brother who is 13. Mm-hmm. I have an older sister who is 19. 20.
That's okay.
20.
All right.
That's okay. That's right.
I don't know how old I am.
That's
so
right.
That's okay.
She goes to ASU. My brother goes to Mesa Middle School.
Gotcha.
Let's see. I'm going to Cal Lutheran next year. I'm going to play softball and study exercise science.
Nice.
I'm going to also minor in art.
Good.
So got a little mix there.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
art?
great. Well, yeah.
Well, my dad's side of the family are huge artists, and I've always been into art growing up, so I wanted to keep with it. It was like a very last-minute decision. It was like we were doing, I don't know, what were we doing? We were doing...
Just registering for what you're going to do for classes. And
yeah, like it was like, it was past, I already applied to the school, and I was applying to classes, and I was like, what if I minor in art? Seems interesting. So I just
try that.
Let's just do it. Yeah. So I just
Do
did
you
it.
like painting and drawing? And
Oh,
things
yeah.
like
Oh,
that?
and you're
Yeah.
really good. You like to do stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
really
has
like
a
to
really
draw.
big artistic side. She actually plays the drums too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played the
What?
drums
This
since I
girl
was 5.
amazes me
Yeah.
every time. I'm
Yeah.
like, something new.
Yes.
Something new. I just can't
I
even.
think because we have a lot of people that aren't watching, we have a lot of people that just listen.
True.
So
So
I think we need to preface all this by letting everybody know
yes.
that Riley has a disability.
Yes. Yeah.
But Riley doesn't allow the disability to stop her from anything.
No.
Absolutely.
As we just heard,
Yeah.
softball,
Yeah.
art, plays the drums.
Yep.
I don't know what else you do.
Yeah.
I
But-
can't wait to hear. Yeah, it's gonna all come out.
Yeah.
So you
Everything.
were born
Yes.
with a
with
And
one
tell us
arm.
what.
Yeah.
what is the medical term?
Right.
You want me to do
That would be
That's
her.
Okay, they refer to it as it's a congenital amputation. It's caused by something called amniotic banding syndrome. So basically, in your amniotic fluid, you have these little fibers so when she was little, you're talking tiny, right? Very first developing. And when the arms are first forming, what can happen is those little teeny fibers can get wrapped around one of the appendages, and it just cuts off the circulation. So it just never finishes growing, essentially, is what happens.
Okay.
It's the most common form of what causes congenital amputations. And so she's what's considered left below elbow, meaning that she has just a little bit just below her elbow and nothing else for the rest of her left arm. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have nubs for fingers, anything, or it's just
I have this little pinky. I can
likes to
move.
wiggle.
okay?
But other than that, nope.
Because
Okay.
I
Straight
have
up no.
I have a family member
Oh, yes.
who was born without fingers
Uh-huh.
Okay.
on her
Left hand.
left hand as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
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 So it has the palm of the hand.
She has the
fingers.
palm of
palm
the
everything
hand.
and just little nubs
Yeah.
for fingers.
But she does have a little like thumb.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she was, she didn't know any different.
Oh, yeah, for
She
sure.
really didn't. And nor was it anything that she wanted to pursue to,
Do anything with.
anything with like
Yeah.
a prosthetic. Or
So
Yeah.
let's dive a little deeper into
Okay.
that. So, Lisa, when did you find out that your daughter was going to be born this way?
Yeah. So, those of you who've had kids, you probably know that you go in for an appointment right around the time you're 20 weeks. And most people think of it as the find out the sex appointment, right?
Yes,
That's
exactly.
everybody-
Is it a boy or
But really
girl?
what they're doing also obviously is checking everything.
Sure.
Just everyone doesn't really like to think about those parts. They just want to think, oh, the fun part, I'm finding out the sex.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went in for that appointment. They're doing all their checks. And, if we found out she was going to be a girl, and the ultrasound tech is the one that does it, right? It's not the doctor. And it's actually funny. I think about this a lot. Is I was in that appointment, and how you just make small talk.
Sure.
And so I was in the appointment, and I said, so if you find something, are you able to tell us? And she's like, no, I'm not the doctor, so I can't diagnose anything. I just take all the pictures and give it to the doctor after. And I said, oh, that must be really awkward if you find something, and then you have to sit there the rest of the appointment and not say anything. So we did the whole appointment, and then we finished the appointment, and probably 15 minutes after we left the appointment, our doctor called us and said they think they might have found an anomaly with her arm, but we're not 100% sure. 'Cause sometimes, the way the baby's laying, it could be behind them or something. And they said, so we want you to come back in tomorrow to essentially an ultrasound specialist where they have
Okay.
higher resolution ultrasounds or whatever. So we went in the next day for that appointment, and they did, looked into it more, and they confirmed that she didn't have her left hand. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was not going to grow. There was no.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
At that
was,
point, there's no. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so, and what were your thoughts? What were you thinking? What were your feelings?
So, it's you definitely go through an initial grieving process, right? Because your child's going to be different than what you imagined in your head. And, I didn't know anybody who was an amputee. I was never really around it. So you're imagining, they're not going to be able to do all these things. I remember the first thing that my husband thought was that, he's like, it's a funny first thought, but he was like, where would she put her wedding ring? Could you put it on your left hand? These were the kind of, these are the kind of thoughts that popped into his head. So, we went through probably a week or so of having a really hard time, trying to adjust to it. And then after that, we just
embraced it,
got over it. Yeah. I did a lot of, you do a lot of what everybody does, you go on the internet, do a lot of reading, try to see other similar kids to make yourself see kind of what their future will look like. And so by the time she was born, because this was another 20 weeks later, we had fully adjusted to it, and
awesome.
We're fine.
Awesome. And did you in your headspace at that time just say, we're just going to live a normal life, and we're just going to, she's going to adapt, and she's going to overcome and figure this out?
Yeah, that was our goal from the beginning, was to, not let her make that something that kept her from doing anything that she wanted to do. And, it's hard when they're little. You have a lot of really uncomfortable moments, because people don't quite know how to react.
Sure.
So you have to do a lot of, when you're bringing them, you think about you're going to bring your kid to swim lessons, you can't just show up, right?
You have to kind of give them a heads up.
Yeah, you have to call in advance and talk to him. So there's a lot of that when she was little.
Okay.
But she did everything, and she's always done everything. She's been
okay. That's really cool. I love that.
Did you research prosthetics and?
Was that an option ever?
Yeah. So there's I don't know if you've heard of Shriners Hospital, but they're kind of two big areas are childhood amputees and then children who have burn victims. That's kind of their two specialties. And so when she was little, we went to Shriners Hospital
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, a
The
lot.
closest one is down in LA. And she tried many different prosthetics. She would go through these phases where like
I
she
can do
really
this.
wanted
Yeah.
one, and like I really want to have a prosthetic. I really want to use it. She would use it for like a couple of weeks, and she'd be like, "I'm not using this."
Yeah.
Like it would totally drive her nuts. She'd take it off, and it would like end up in the corner. And then she didn't want it at all again for like years. And then all of a sudden again, she'd be like, "I want a prosthetic," and so we would go do it all over again.
Yeah.
Because it's all about how like you grow, and
Yeah.
obviously it doesn't fit, and then you have to do
Oh,
it
yeah.
all over again, like another mold
Constantly
or
have to get new ones.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
do you
hard for
have
kids.
one right now?
I do. I have 2 actually.
And
I've-
do you wear them?
Yeah, well, kind of. So I use one for my bike, which I use that one a lot. So I just attach onto my bike, and then it's kind of like this like socket thing with a little screw at the tip of it, and I just put it in, and it like clicks. That's when I know it's in, and then pretty much stuck on that bike. So if I fall, there is a little safety button, but I think if I'm falling, I probably wouldn't think of putting that safety button.
Oh.
But
That's one more thing you can
Yeah.
think about.
so
gotcha.
yeah. So I use that one a lot.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it has like little tips that you can change out on the end of it.
Okay.
So right now it has the bike riding one on there, but they have like a weightlifting one, which I used for maybe like a month.
But you may end up using it again in college.
Yeah. I will probably, but
Okay.
In pieces are called terminal devices. So essentially you make the prosthetic, which is the part that is like molded to her arm, and then it goes to like a wrist, think of it like that.
Sure.
And then you can attach and unattach different pieces to the end based on the activity you're doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
gotcha.
so there's like a whole catalog, like,
Yeah.
I want to go kayaking, so
a
I need something
whole
that's going to
book.
hold a paddle
Yeah.
or whatever.
Gotcha.
And so she has the one she's talking about, the bike riding one. And then the one like for working out would be like it clamps onto like a weight bar, kind of
Nice.
thing.
Yeah.
But I know they've made a lot of progress with this.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
But you have no sensation when you're using that. There's nothing that's stimulating the nerve endings in
No.
your arm.
Yeah, that was honestly probably one of the bigger problems, because a lot of people that do get prosthetics, they did lose their arm. So they want that like kind of feeling back where they have 2 hands. So when we were trying this new prosthetic that I have that I used for also like a month, it was an experience though to get it.
Sure.
But it connects to my, what does it connect to my like little,
It uses like the residual like nerves and
Yeah.
muscles on the end of your arm. And there's these little sensors on it. So
Yeah.
like essentially she can think about like, I'm going to close my hand.
Yeah.
Right. And it's supposed to activate the right parts of the end of her arm,
Oh.
which hits the right sensors that then makes the hand close. It's
Yeah.
on the end of it.
That's amazing.
so
It's really cool.
amazing.
Did it work for you?
Kind of. It kind of worked. It was really hard for them to get the sensors right and everything, because they're like, okay, now picture your hand closing. I'm like, I can't picture that. Like, I can't picture.
Because you've never had
Yeah, I've never had it.
Right.
And so the people that were using this prosthetic, they knew what that felt like.
what that
Yeah.
looked
It tends to work
like.
better for people who had traumatic amputations where they previously had a.
Sure.
It was like,
That makes sense.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a brand new design that just came out of the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like 3D printed. So a lot of problems with prosthetics is they're really, really heavy. And so the 3D printed part made it super light. So we wanted to try it out because I didn't want to use one of those. Also, those metal ones, those big, chunky metal ones, are really expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that one was like half the price or less.
Okay.
And
They're the
so,
ones with the claw on the end.
yeah, well, we
So the original
Had
one
those.
she had from Shriners, those are the ones with the claw on the end, and those are like manual prosthetics.
Yeah.
So essentially, you have like a strap across your back,
it's like a string kind of
and
thing.
you like
Yeah.
put your other arm into it, and then it's just a total manual. Like if you straighten your arm,
Yeah.
it makes the hand open, and then you bring your and it recloses the hand. And these are ones that have been around forever.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like the
Okay.
original prosthetic, and they're still like very usable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do those at Shriners because they're a lot cheaper, you know, and they can make them for a lot more kids.
Yeah.
The one she's talking about is, you know, it's pretty expensive, so it wouldn't be very available to a lot of, and
Yeah.
you know, it's not something that's covered by insurance because they don't think it's necessary to have two hands. So it's not a medical necessity to have two hands.
We're not even going down that rabbit hole.
We're not going to get started on that.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole different. Yeah.
I had
I
many a
can-
conversation with insurance companies about who's
Right.
playing God and who's
Yeah.
playing doctor.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Okay, so let's just try to
Yeah,
stay
we can go off
focused
that.
on
Yeah.
that and not get too
Yeah,
upset.
yeah. But it's for her, it's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, she really, I think, you know, she went through her phases of prosthetics
Yeah.
because, you know, in your mind, she would hit like a developmental phase where like something would be frustrating her and she's like,
That was mainly where it came
what
from.
happened? And she'd be like, I want a prosthetic,
Frustration.
you know, because she'd be frustrated about something. And
Yes.
so getting the prosthetic was more of
It was like a comfort.
like a mental thing, right?
Yeah.
Like a more of a
Sure.
comfort
Yeah.
from a mental
Yeah.
standpoint.
Yeah.
And then she would get it and then feel better about it. And then she was like,
I'm
you
done.
know, and that's what we were
don't
doing
need
it
it,
for.
yeah.
It was like just for her, just to
Yeah.
support her.
Yeah.
But I don't really see her probably ever using one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to I was going to go back like as a kid. Okay,
Okay.
so let's talk about this so she crawled.
Oh yeah, I had a prosthetic for that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That was her first ever prosthetic.
Yeah, it's really cute.
It's really
little.
cute. It's about this big. Yeah.
It was really cute. And when she would crawl, you could hear her coming because it would be like,
Boom.
because
Oh,
everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she kind of, and that was just like, right, there's no hand. It literally was there specifically for crawling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for the forearm
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Okay. So she did that well.
Yep.
Okay. And then she went to walking and you didn't really okay.
Yeah.
So then you start with activities like I mean, and obviously she likes activities that
does.
a lot of people have two arms for.
Yeah.
So I mean, but just normal stuff like maybe hobbies that you guys liked and you just brought her along with you.
Yeah.
Whether it be a bike or a
Everything.
Yeah. A
Okay.
very adventurous family. So
Yeah. She's,
whatever we did,
You
she's
did.
done,
Yeah.
Rafting, whitewater rafting.
Yeah.
You've done rappelling.
yeah.
Yep.
and what do? You know nothing for you just go.
I just go.
You just
Figure it
go.
out when we get there.
You don't know any different.
yeah.
figure it out.
No.
You-
Yeah.
And it sounds to me, just we're talking about the prosthetic,
Yeah.
that even when you do have that other limb, you are so used to not having it
Right.
Yeah.
that you don't
It's
want
almost-
it.
Yeah, it just gets in the
because
way.
It
Yeah.
Right. It
Yeah.
gets in the
Gets
way.
in the
Yeah.
way. That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
That is such a good way to say it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything to compare it to, but I do have Ryan loved special needs kids and there's something called the Challenger program and a lot on our podcast we talk about the
Yeah.
Challenger. Do you know about it?
I do. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Ryan was very involved with the Challenger program at Colorado Mesa University. They have a huge network community there. And I'm thinking of Cody. Are you thinking of Cody?
Yep.
I love this kid. And he is, his parents, same thing. We're going skiing, you're going too.
Yeah.
And we're going bowling, you're going too. And my rational mind is thinking, how is this happening?
Yeah.
How can this work? But it does. It works. It doesn't. It's never a second guess. You have the resources that you need. The kid literally goes down the ski slope on this bike, like modified little bike that has a.
I don't know how to call it a bike,
I don't know what you call it.
but
Amazing.
his
Yeah.
crutches have skis on them.
yeah.
And, you know,
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever. You know, he's never ever let it stop him do anything.
He runs the bases.
Yeah,
He does
he runs
everything.
the bases
Yeah.
with his
his
crutches, and he bowls. He just doesn't run and bowl. He
Yeah.
has to go and
Which
every
I need
time,
to start bowling that way because maybe I'll get better.
right? But nothing like he has this awesome mindset.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see and hear and his new things that he's trying. You know, I'm going to try this. I'm going
Yeah.
to get good at this. And so I'm sure as you were growing up, is there one thing or a few things that you can say that maybe were a little hard?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Tying my shoes. Growing up, I didn't start tying my shoes until like 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3rd grade, which is
She was so frustrated. Everyone at her school
yeah.
was already
I had
tying
like
their
little
shoes.
curly ties, and so they would just
So you didn't actually have to
yeah,
tie it.
it's tighten and they would curl.
Good news.
Yeah.
Slip-on shoes are
Yeah,
all the
slip-on-
rage.
I know.
Slip-on shoes.
Just saying.
I know.
That's
It
right.
was
I
funny
know.
when she was little. We would say all these things to her, like, "You don't need to tie your shoes. There's a million pairs of shoes that you
don't need.
tie."
Yeah.
Right.
She was like,
I didn't want that to stop me from wearing the shoes that
she
I wanted
was
to
like,
wear.
well,
Yeah.
it was that, and it was like she
Yeah.
didn't like that there was something that all the kids could do that
Oh, yeah.
She couldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she would just practice and practice. Like she was, it would just really annoy her,
Yeah.
even if it didn't matter.
Oh,
So you can do it now one-handed.
Yes.
I want to see it.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's try
I
this.
have to scoot over.
Can you do it? I want to see this.
Sit down and do it.
Okay, so you have to sit down. Do you have this on camera?
She's all,
Can you put your foot up on the table?
No.
no.
Because I have to be able to reach. I can go.
She has to be able to reach with her little arm.
Somewhere.
I tell you what, we'll
We're gonna
show
do this.
all of our listeners afterwards.
Okay, thank you. I want to
Nate
see
can
that.
do an
That was one of
outtake.
my questions too, Riley.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know if she ties her shoes. I want to know if she ties her shoes. Like, I mean, those are important things.
Yeah.
But they're really not.
Yeah.
I mean, now you know they're not
Yeah.
that important.
I mean,
as far as you can live your whole life without
tying
you
on
know,
shoes.
tying a shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
know
And
how.
I find it really odd right now that you're wearing Converse tie-up basketball shoes.
I know.
And your mom's got the
The
slip-on
slip-on
Vans.
shoes. Exactly.
Yep.
That's what happens when you get to be our age.
That's it.
Yeah.
Slip-on.
You're like, I'm
Slip-on.
not bending
You're
over.
like, I'm not.
I
I'm
love
not doing
it.
anything extra.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love that.
No.
Oh my gosh. So, any other sports that maybe you were challenged by and were frustrated by?
Well, basketball was frustrating. I ended up playing varsity basketball, but it
Varsity
was
basketball as a freshman? When?
She played varsity basketball at AG High.
yeah, starting junior year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She
Yeah.
was captain of her basketball team and her softball team this
Yeah,
year.
I was one of the
So
assistant
Dave
captains.
Ross
Just
is one of
Dave
your
Ross.
coaches.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dave Ross
Yeah,
and
shout out to
Ross
Dave Ross.
family.
Yes.
Riley's
Yes,
favorite.
we love you.
Favorite
Ever.
coaches ever.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
I love him.
Dave, we go way back with Dave. He was one of Ryan's baseball coaches.
Oh, for sure.
And then I knew Dave from business and everything else and love the Ross family.
We
So
love the Ross family.
Yeah,
So
some
that's
of
a
her
hard
hearts
funniest,
go out to them.
Like coaching experiences I've ever been
Yeah.
with Dave. When she were you a freshman when he made the double dribble?
Yeah, because he was my freshman coach, and then he moved to varsity when I moved up to varsity.
Okay.
And I think we were playing like Lompoc or something my freshman year. And the, what is it, a ref? Yeah, a ref. So many different umpire refs. Anyways,
Yeah.
the ref called a double dribble on me. And
I would have liked to have seen that.
yeah, and Dave yelled like, "You could have called anything else. You could have made up something, and you called a double dribble."
he was so annoyed.
He was like yelling. It was funny.
That's the one thing you can't do is a
Yeah,
double dribble.
I can't. I was like, you could have called traveling on me. I think that would have made more sense, but called a double dribble.
Yeah.
And I don't think I like registered it at the moment when I was playing, but then after, like, it's probably one of my favorite things that he has said because it was so funny.
It was
In the
so
moment, it was
funny.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
About- I'm curious to know how you were received by other kids growing up. Were you bullied?
Not really, mostly because I had an older sister with me who was protective, but
Sure.
honestly, I was pretty like friendly, outgoing little kid. So
So if somebody stared at you, you want me to tell you about it? What did you like? You just no, you didn't say that.
You got lots of stares.
lots
that
of
she would just
stares. It would
ignore.
always bother me.
Oh,
I'd always go home and talk about it, but I would never say anything. I think mostly little kids were my problem, like because they don't have a filter.
they
Right.
don't.
They would just be like, "Oh, what happened to your arm?"
And they're also
Or-
not good with personal space.
So they would
touch it a lot.
touch it, go up to it, and be in elementary school. That's rough when you're like, 5th grade, and there's kindergartners running around. You're
Sure.
Like, there's always new kindergartners every single year. So
Every year, so
Every
they're
year.
always
It's like
interested.
the show and tell?
yeah, every single yeah.
and
but
what school did you go to?
Shelby Elementary.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a great school.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So you felt like you always had to say something. It was never just, it was always in your face. This is it.
Yep.
Because there's new kids that need to be educated
Yeah.
on it.
And that was kind of the big thing with her. Every time she played a new sport and, every year you have a new team.
Yeah.
And so then, we would always have to like call the coach beforehand and then set up like the first day, like introductions so that he could like, just like just get it out there. You just want to like get it out there the first day.
Sure.
And then it's just over with. And then kids move on. But if you just sort of like don't say anything, right?
That's
And
done.
then they're like staring and they want to ask questions and they don't, and then it makes it awkward. So we just learned that it's like just better to get it over with on the first day, and then everyone can move on.
Good. That's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Really smart to
So I
figure
didn't
that
know
out.
they did this.
So when did you start playing sports? When did you figure out that softball was your thing? And
Did you try lots of things?
I started playing sports when I was 4. I played t-ball. When I was a little Met.
Soccer
Yeah.
and t-ball.
Soccer. Yeah, I played soccer, and my mom was probably like, "Oh yeah, we'll put her in soccer. She can use her feet." Yeah. And I was like, "Mom, I'm gonna be the goalie."
I'm going to be the goalie.
She was the goalie.
Yeah. And of course, I chose the one position, and I was like, "Oh, I want to catch the ball. I don't want to kick it. Like, why would I do
I
that?"
remember picking it from practice, and she got in the car, and she was like, "Mom, I really want to be a goalie." And I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "Tell your coach the next day you want to be a goalie." And she was like, "All right."
And so how did he take that? He was like, well,
I was like, "Sure."
go for
Sure,
it.
yeah.
She had great.
I had great
experience with
coaches. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good.
and you did it.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
She was a really good goalie too. Yeah.
A lot of the things I learned was like on YouTube. So I learned how to do my glove switch. You know Jim Abbott?
Yes.
Okay, so I learned how to do my glove switch from watching a video of Jim Abbott.
Doing
Oh.
Yes, and then I learned how to tie my shoes doing that way, like learning off of YouTube. I learned ponytail. I learned a lot of things. Just other people posting about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
resource.
Yes, it is.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And she also got to meet Jim Abbott when she was like 10, which was pretty.
Yeah,
awesome.
that was a
yeah.
really good experience.
And he was such an amazing guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
What an amazing
amazing.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a neat honor.
He played catch with her. It was so cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
That is
Yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
So I've never seen you play basketball,
Oh yeah.
but I've seen your videos on softball.
yeah.
So we're going to show some clips.
Okay.
But I want you to explain to our listeners now how you play softball.
Ooh, okay, let's see. I always get asked this question. I never know how quite to explain it because I have my own little terms. But for batting, I mostly just hold the bat with one hand. It looks like I have my little arm on it, but it's just there for resting. So I put the bat on my shoulder, and then once the pitcher gets ready, I put it up. The nub is still on the bottom of the bat, and to keep it kind of balanced. And then as soon as she starts pitching, I let go of it, and then I just crank back.
Okay.
Go.
I'm going to interrupt you right there because
Yes.
to me, that's the most remarkable part.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're talking softball here.
Yeah. Mhm.
For anybody that's watched girls softball,
Oh, yeah.
you play on a 60-foot diamond.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the pitcher's at 40 feet, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, wow.
And it's underhand.
Yeah.
Because it's fast pitch.
Yeah, it's fast.
And that ball is coming even quicker
Yeah.
than it appears in a Major League Baseball
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
because of the distances.
Yeah.
Reaction
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
And
Yes.
the fact that you can do that
Yeah.
one-handed
Yeah.
and hit the ball to the wall
Yeah.
Right.
blew me out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just blown away.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Right.
There's
Yeah.
people with two hands that cannot do
No.
what you do.
Yeah,
No.
for sure.
One-handed.
Yeah.
And definitely hitting was, you know,
That
if
was
you
the
look at like her trajectory of softball and like the challenges with it, that was definitely the thing that took the longest for her, was the biggest struggle. And she would get so frustrated.
Yeah.
I mean, like she's
Hitting's
an
been
amazing
frustrating.
softball player now, but like she wasn't a kid that like, you know, from day one was just like, I'm this amazing, you know, the star of my team. I'm this amazing, right? So she had to like really go through it and really stick with it to get to where she is now. I always tell the story of like when she was probably about 10, playing fall ball, and she played the entire season and didn't hit the ball a single time. So like in softball, right around 10 or 11 is when pitching really like takes a
Speeds
huge
up.
jump.
Develops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go from like them just sort of like lobbing it in there to girls like really figuring it out. And so the speed really increases. And so she went that entire season without hitting the ball a single time all season.
Yeah.
So I remember we got to the last game
rough.
and she was like, we went to the last game, we were going to it, and she said, she said, "Mom, I just want to get one hit." We went to the game. And so every time she went up to bat that game, I was like, please just hit the ball. You know, like, it's just like, please hit the ball. And she had her last at bat. And she was up there, and I was just like, just sitting there, like, just please hit the ball.
Yeah.
And she, you know, struck out, and I was just like, and, you know, she always kind of holds, she's just the kid that, like, most people won't outwardly know what's going on with her. And so we walked away from it. As we were walking to the car, she just started bawling.
Oh.
And she got in the car, and she was just like, I don't think I can do this. Like, she was just so, like, you know, beaten down by it. And I said, well, let's find you a hitting coach. Let's work all, like, off season on your hitting. Sure. And then I don't want you to just quit. Let's just try it. And then let's do that. And then do one more season
And see how it goes.
after that, and see how it goes. And so she agreed to that. And so she worked on her hitting all off season and made huge strides that next season, and then refound her love for softball. But you know, people now would probably just think that, like, she was just, like, able to do it, you know, but it was like she really had to put the work in for it.
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Amazing.
so now you've got hitting down.
Yeah.
So now you have to figure out how to catch the ball.
Oh yeah.
Is catching a little bit easier or no?
I mean, everyone catches the same. I have my glove on my right hand, so that wasn't any different. My glove transition has always been hard, but I mean, I've been doing it for so long now. I don't really think about it, but it definitely was a process. So I catch the ball, and then I flip my hand upside down. I put my arm or my hand in my armpit of my little arm. I can't even think about what I do anymore.
I know, because it's all slow. It's one motion.
For those that aren't watching your hitting motion,
Yeah.
so you're taking your glove hand.
Yes, my glove hand.
Yeah.
So you rotate it up facing the sky.
Yeah, facing the sky.
You tuck it underneath your left arm.
Yep.
Okay.
You got to get the ball out.
Yeah.
But you're pinching it to hold it.
Yeah, I'm holding it.
And then you reach in. Now you've removed your hand from the glove.
Yeah.
You reach in, you grab the ball.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then I throw it.
Yeah, so you grab the ball out.
I grab the ball out and I throw it. And then I don't know really how I do this, but somehow I rotate my glove and it just goes back on my hand. I don't know, like I do it so many times because, I mean, you're playing catch, and that's a lot of reps as it is.
Yeah.
Switching, like playing catch. Growing up, I was like, I don't want to play catch. That's so much work. Taking my glove off every single time I throw the ball. And so yeah, but no, it's fine now. But it definitely, catch was not my favorite thing.
I mean, the speed that she can do it is, like, that's what amazes most people. Is she does it so fast that it takes some people a really long time to even realize that she has one hand and that she's doing that, because she does it so quickly. Like, she's, you know, because obviously when you're trying to get recruited for college, you do a lot of, like, college showcases and camps and stuff.
Yeah.
And at some of those, they'll do like evaluations where they actually, like, take metrics on you, like how fast you can throw.
Oh, yeah.
And she can do that, like, faster than a lot of kids with two hands. Like, that's how fast she can do it. It's crazy.
Well, I watched it several times.
Yeah.
And it looks like one motion.
Yeah, it is.
It's like
hard
a
to
one
break it
motion,
down.
but it's like 4 steps. You got to put it in. You got to grab the ball out.
Yeah.
You know?
And it amazes me that she never, like, makes a mistake. Like, she never, what I mean is, like, you would think that every once in a while you would, like, miss the ball as you go to grab it out or something.
Yeah,
but,
I think honestly the most thing that happens is either my hand is so sweaty that I can't, like, get it out.
Your hand.
Yeah,
Yes, because
my
it's in the
hand.
glove.
It's in the glove. Or when you catch the ball sometimes in a weird spot, it gets, like, stuck in the pocket.
Yes.
And I'll, like, pull it out. I'm like, I can't get the ball out.
so it slows you down a little bit.
Slows a little bit.
But, like, just, like, barely. But other than that,
I don't think it
smooth.
slows you down that much. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're going to go away to play college
Yeah,
baseball.
no,
softball.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, so tell us a little bit about that, like, process. And I'm curious. Like, did you have to, like, have a meeting prior to that and go, listen?
Yeah, by the time she got to that age, you know, pretty much by the time she got to high school, I didn't do that anymore. Well, she can speak for herself. Plus, kids are just, you know, better at understanding what's going on, so they don't really ask questions.
yeah.
Right.
But I mean, the college thing was quite a process.
Right.
It's hard because on the one hand, people think it's a very inspiring story and they think it's interesting and unique. But on the other hand, you know, college coaches only have so many spots on their roster.
Right.
So they have to be convinced that like it's
not a liability.
Yeah, not a liability for them, and that they're going to be able to coach it. I think some of them have like, it's different. Like, you know, like it's going to be different coaching her than it's going to be coaching someone else. Like, is that going to, you know, like she can't get the hitting coaching the same as like how they would tell someone to hit with two hands. And so I think some coaches get a little intimidated by that.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Like, because you have to play on a lot of travel teams if you want to get better. I don't know.
Good enough to be seen.
Exactly.
Yeah, good enough to be seen. And when you switch that often, a lot of times coaches just don't coach me on hitting. I mean, they'll coach me like the small little tip that they can give me, but sometimes they just get nervous. They don't know what to say. So, I mean, it's big. They've never seen this before. They're like, I've been around softball for 20 years. I've never seen this before. But so it's a lot of like self-coaching.
Sure.
But I think the biggest part of my process of getting recruited was trying to stand out, but not just stand out because I have one arm, but stand out as a good player. That was always my thing. Like, coaches would come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, like, you're such a great player, like, keep in contact. But you never know if that's, because you're a one-arm softball player,
Right.
or if you're a good player. So, like, players that got notified by coaches and, like, talked to by coaches at these recruiting camps and stuff, I was like, oh, they must be good. But for me, I'm like, are they just talking to me because I have one arm, or if I'm a good player? So, like, deceiving. But, whatever coaches continued to talk to me, I assumed that was
A good thing.
A good thing, yeah.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, going to so many camps, going to so many, like, showcase tournaments, there's always a coach that talks to me after a game just because they want to talk to me.
Yeah.
But it is remarkable.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you accomplish.
Yeah.
And you don't know any different.
Yeah.
This is
No.
This is what you do.
This is it.
Is there anything still to this day that you have difficulty with?
Yeah.
With only your right hand.
Yeah. Which is a big thing with sports. Putting my hair up. Pretty
And
hard.
a ponytail.
And a ponytail.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
understand that, babe.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Putting your hair up in a ponytail is
Yeah.
the hardest thing
Yes.
still today.
Yes. I can, like, put it up if I'm in the right kind of room with the right chair, because I have to put it up on a chair, like, put my hair back on a chair.
Gotcha.
And and then, like, put my head down, like, get in the right spot, and then tie it. It's so many steps. It's so frustrating.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I know. Like, I start, like, sweating. It
And when you
takes, like,
play
an
sports,
hour.
you do this constantly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm tired of this. So then I just have my mom do it, or I have a friend do it, or someone do it.
Have you ever thought
my
about
hair.
a different haircut?
No, I should just like shave my head.
No.
And then I don't
No,
have
but
to.
you have enough there for locks of love.
Yeah,
that's true.
I do.
You could do a cute little bob haircut or something.
Look at you. You're
Yeah.
like, I have no hair,
Yeah.
but
Something shoulder length, like
Yeah.
your wife,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
that's so funny.
At
True.
some point.
Yeah.
I probably will. Yeah, but
But putting your hair up in a
putting my hair
ponytail is
up.
probably the hardest thing to do then.
yeah.
Okay.
How about now? Let's go completely off the subject here. How about dating? Have you found it interesting that guys don't want to approach you, or
No.
do you have a boyfriend? I mean, let's talk about that.
Nope.
No, not want to do that.
No, it hasn't been any different. I mean, I've been with these people since I was young. They all
Makes a
know
huge
me. They don't
difference.
really see any different from me. But
She's had such a great group of friends.
Yeah.
I think that's been huge for her,
Sure.
that she's had the opportunity to like grow up here from the time she was in kindergarten.
yeah.
Oh.
So like
okay.
by the time she's the age she is now, like those kids don't even like, it's, you know.
Until you get called double dribble. You're like,
Yeah,
excuse me.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's what she thinks about, like going to college,
Yeah.
right? Like that'll be
Freshman
her
people.
first time, like going
Sure.
into an environment where she literally
Won't know.
knows a single person,
Yeah.
right? And so it'll all be new.
Yeah.
But
And
for
are you
her-
looking forward to it? Do you have a little bit of fear about it, or what are your thoughts?
Nah. I mean, I've been put in so many different situations with new people. I don't think
Because of sports.
Because of sports, yeah. Just like if
Yeah.
you're an athlete, you're always meeting new people, and you always have to be friends with them at some point.
Yeah.
But so I'm not nervous about that. I'm more nervous about independence. Like when I think of like little things that I have to do, I'm like, oh wait.
Like
Mom won't
like
be
having
there.
to ask someone to put their hair in a ponytail.
Yeah.
Like,
So like this summer.
Hey, can you be my buddy?
yeah.
Put my
Like
hair
you
in
don't want to be
ponytail?
the 18-year-old that has to ask someone.
Yeah.
Even though like
Sure.
it's an obvious reason that she needs it,
It's
you still don't want to be the person that has to ask somebody for help, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask something else. What about driving?
Oh, whew. Okay. I actually went on when I went on my first driving lesson when I was like 15 and a half. That's when it was, around there. My driving instructor actually had me put my nub on the wheel. So I was like this. So just think about how uncomfortable it is. It's like putting both your elbows on a steering wheel. And then you do that driving lesson for 2 hours. And just think of the neck pain after that. Anyways, but yeah.
Because they require two hands on the
Yes.
wheel.
Yeah.
And so I took my driver's test like that. I actually failed my first driver's test because
It's a whole nother.
my person was
Not nice.
not nice.
Not
No.
nice.
We had to
not
actually
nice.
go in and talk to the DMV about it.
Yeah.
He was very prejudicial against her disability, we'll just say.
Yeah.
Because of the two hands on the wheel? Or
No,
he just didn't
it was
believe
just-
that she
he didn't
needed...
think I
It
could
was
do
just
it.
obvious from the beginning that he didn't think that she could be or should be driving. So he really just had it in his mind to fail her before the thing even started. Just the comments that he made and stuff to her were very unnecessary, and
Yeah.
was clear that he was.
I'm sorry.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's
sorry that
not
you-
okay.
It was, yeah.
Not okay.
If that, I mean, I was 16 at the time. Whew, that hit. I was mad. I was
Right?
You
mad.
had
Yeah.
every right to be mad.
Yeah.
Every right to be mad.
I was frustrated. I took it again 2 weeks later and I passed. So
Okay.
With
it worked
flying
out.
colors.
Yeah, with flying colors. Yeah, I'm great.
Okay. So that's not an issue.
Not an
You
issue.
can- yeah.
The only thing I think you'd have problem driving is a truck or something that requires
Yes.
shifting.
Stick shift.
Yeah, stick shift. Yeah,
Oh,
for
total.
sure. Yeah. I mean,
The hardest part about driving is the turn signal, right?
oh yeah. So,
Oh.
I'm sure my parents probably were a little scared about this when I first learned how to drive. But so I probably shouldn't say this, but when I do use my turn signal, there's no hands on the wheel. So I just
Right, because she can't.
I slide my hand like when I first was driving. I actually put my nub up and hit my turn signal, but I was like, that's too many steps. So then I just go like this and slide my hand over, hit the turn signal, go back over. So
Gotcha.
I mean, but I'm like, I've done it for 2 years now, and I'm pretty good at it. So
Well, I
It's
think
safe.
for you, it's obvious
amazing.
that you just adapt
Yeah.
to everything.
Right.
And
Yeah.
people probably don't even notice that hand's coming off the wheel because
Yeah.
you're,
It's
you're
so
so
fast.
quick about it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
second nature to
yeah,
you.
it is. It is. And when I first got my license, the guy that actually failed me the first time, he was like, well, you need a knob when you drive. You know those like little knobs on
yeah.
the steering wheel?
Yeah. Those
And-
are illegal, I believe.
Yeah. And he was like, well, you need one of those, and you have to put it on your license that you need one of those.
But then that would
And-
mean she would never be able to drive a car
Yeah,
if it
so,
didn't have one.
so I got like a rental car.
Right.
I couldn't drive that car. I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, I am gonna drive any car. So,
And
I was
you
like,
were
"Eh."
adamant that
Oh,
is
yeah.
what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
And there's
So the knob you're talking about, what I'm thinking of is completely different. They have them on tractors for turning really tight. This is more for like a handicap driver.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
That
exactly.
con-
Yeah.
that-
Yeah,
those.
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
But then you're right. Then you'd be considered
Yeah.
a disabled driver,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't be able to drive anything but that.
yeah.
Particular car. Yeah.
yeah, that's hard. Okay. That's really hard. So that was a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Trying to overcome that.
Yeah.
But you talked to them, obviously you got another appointment and you
Yep.
passed. So
Yep.
you're like, there you
Talk
go.
to them. Yep.
Yeah.
Talk to them nicely. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
We talked to them.
Yeah.
Kind of had some interesting cover. Another one that happened to her was she went to Six Flags.
Oh.
Oh, look, she's like,
Yeah.
When she was in junior high,
Yeah.
was 8th grade? Yeah,
It was
their
my 8th grade trip.
So the whole school, the whole class goes
Yeah.
to Six Flags for their trip together. And it's just the students who go with like a few chaperone teachers. So like there's no parents there.
right.
and she had a pretty poor experience with that. I don't know, do you want to explain?
Well, I went on, I don't remember the name of the rides because it just,
the bigger roller coasters.
yeah, it was one of the bigger roller coasters. It was like one of the second rides I went on when I got there. And I sat down after waiting in line, and when you walk into the park
for like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
When you first walk into a line, there's always like a sign that says, you can't ride this ride because you have a pacemaker. You can't ride this ride because,
you're pregnant.
Yeah, so-and-so.
Yeah.
So there was nothing on there that said, you can't ride this ride because you have one arm. Anyways, I sat down in the ride, and I'm ready to go. Got my buckled on and stuff.
With all of her like 13-year-old friends.
Yeah. And the worker comes over to me, and she goes, you can't ride this ride, you need to get off. Like, and then I obviously didn't ask why, because I was 13, and I was so, like, I was like, what? What do you mean I can't ride this ride? Like, it's a roller coaster. Like, hey, I'm fine.
And she'd been to a lot of amusement parks before.
Yeah. And so then I just got off, and then I was like, okay, it's not gonna happen again. Like, that's just the only ride. Like, be fine. Went on the next ride, and it happened again. And I was like, why? I asked why this time. And she was like, well, the ride broke down. Like, you need to climb down a ladder. Like, you need to climb down the ladder of the ride. And you need to be able to hold on to the handlebars. And I'm like, don't you always say, like, put your hands up, like, on a ride? Or, like,
Plus
or
you can climb a ladder just fine.
Yeah.
I've seen some really old people on rides that definitely would not be able to climb a ladder.
Yeah. Anyways, so I got off the ride, and I was, like, bawling at this point. And it happened maybe, like, 2 other times. But other than that,
On that day?
Yes. It was rough. It was a hard
They
day.
just want you to go on the carousel and that's it? Or
Yeah, pretty
so
much.
She just kept staying in line with all of her friends, and then we get to the point where she got on the ride, and then they'd tell her to get off, and then she'd have to sit there while all of her friends rode, and she just.
Oh my gosh, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough.
And usually my parents are there, and they can, like, speak up for me.
Advocate for her.
Yes.
But-
yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
then-
At 13, she wasn't really ready yet to be advocating for herself. So, she just sort of sat there sad,
Sure, of course.
Obviously, if we would have been there after it happened the first time, we would have went and took her, and talked to somebody and whatever. So, it sort of ruined her whole 8th grade trip experience. And so she came home, and
The second I got in the car, I was like, I started bawling.
Yeah,
I was like,
she was so
Mom.
upset.
Have you been back since?
No, they gave me free tickets.
It was funny because she told us all about it, and we were trying to decide like what to do. And she decided that she really wanted to, try to do something about it because she wanted someone else in her situation to not experience the same thing.
Yeah.
So we decided to try to contact them to basically like just advocate for amputees in general. And because they could make a couple of very simple changes and it would have made a huge difference, right? Like if it really is the fact that you can't ride a ride with this, like have it on the sign up front. Like don't let someone stand in line for 2 hours
and
then
get so discouraged. When
and
you
then,
sit down.
be embarrassed in front of your friends and whatever.
Sure.
Or, have something when you're originally purchasing the tickets for the amusement park or have like some training for the actual people who are working there.
Yeah.
Like they could have on the very first ride, right, when they were having her get off, they could have said something to her and said like, here's the reason why you can go here to find out all of the rides that you can't ride. So she's just not like over and over, like trying.
Yeah.
Right? So there's like a lot of like simple things they could change to make it like a much better experience for her.
Sure.
And so we tried to do that. They weren't very receptive of it. But they did send her free tickets to come back.
Yeah.
And she was like,
why would I want to?
yeah.
And they just sat there.
Yeah.
Why?
We never used
why
them.
would I want to come back there when I'm going to get...
That's wrong in
like-
so many aspects.
Yeah, probably super inconsistent too.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, I don't even know what I can and cannot.
Yeah.
And neither do they. You know, they're just trying to.
And it was totally random. Like I said, we're huge, like, we go on lots of adventures. We've been to lots of, she's been to a ton of amusement parks. She's been on a million roller coasters.
Right.
No one's ever said anything. So like, what's special
Why-
about your roller coaster?
And to me, that sounds like a violation of the Americans with Disability Act.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly what we think.
yeah.
Yeah.
We even talked to a lawyer about it and honestly, like we didn't want to sue them.
No.
Like, we didn't want to make any money
Wanna
off of
know.
it. We
Yeah.
wanted
We
them
just
to like try to
awareness.
make a
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
And he was the one that helped us like draft the letter, like how we would write it to them and stuff. And it came down to where it was obvious they weren't going to like voluntarily do anything. And so the only way we would have been able to do it is like literally like take them to court. And, you know, she would have had to, it would just been this whole like process. And at that age, when she was 13, she just wasn't, we left it up to her. You know, we would have done it if she wanted to, but she was just like, dropped it.
I
But
get it.
yeah.
Oh my.
I would have done it now.
I'm sorry that happened.
You're like, now I would have done it. Yeah.
Okay,
And I want to
so-
talk to the person that failed.
Yeah.
So let's talk future. What
Okay.
do you want to do in the future?
Oh, yes.
And this is a 2-part question.
Okay.
So what do you want to do in the future? And do you want to have a family?
Yes.
And if you do, do you run a risk of one of your children having the same?
That might be a mom question. I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay.
Well, I want to be an occupational therapist when I grow up. That's what my goal is right now. I mean, it could change.
Sure.
But I went to a lot of occupational therapists growing up. So did my brother. And they were the people that like really changed my life and let me do the small things, like the little independent things, like how to cut food, how to, I
Kind
did
of paper in
yeah.
elementary school.
Yeah, just like small things you don't even think of. And I want to do that for other people. I think I'd have a good little insight of how to help them.
Yes.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my goals so far.
Okay. So that's what you're going to go to school for.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
and can I ask you, you had a second part to that
Well,
question.
yeah. Do you want to have a family?
Yes.
And if you have children, do you run the risk of?
I was like 3, but
I do want to have a
I want to
family.
know all this too.
Yeah, I want to have a family. And I don't really know.
No, she doesn't.
No,
it's
I don't.
They call it like calls like a spontaneous event or something. So
Yeah.
it's not a genetic thing. It's just something that like can happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
So
nothing
she has no higher risk of having a kid with an amputation than any other person.
I would love to adopt a kid with an amputation.
Oh,
so then I can
that is
kind of will guide them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
adoption in general, but that is remarkable because you would know how that kid feels.
Yeah, for sure.
You
Yeah.
know, and just to have that support system. Oh, it's huge.
Yeah,
It's huge.
for sure.
That is crazy. How did you choose to go to Cal Lutheran? Did they choose you? Did you choose them? How did that happen?
So at the end, I was narrowing it down to 2 schools, Cal Lutheran and Pacific University in Oregon, Forest Grove, Oregon. And Forest Grove, Oregon was a little bit too far from home, but they were like a great school. I loved the school. But it was rainy and I'm an outdoor sport and I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
You really like the Cal Lutheran coach a lot.
And the Cal Lutheran, yeah, I was gonna go back to Cal Lutheran, yeah. But Cal Lutheran, when I went on the visit, their coach was awesome. Their coach, how long have they been coaching there? She was like
20-something years.
20-something years, yeah. So she knows what she's doing.
That's great.
Yeah, she played softball before. She was like an All-American.
She played like Division I at like I think maybe ASU or University of Arizona.
I think it was University of Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's coached at school in the past. Anyways, so she had really cool background, and the way that she picked her players was like she picked off of personality. She knew at this level that every player could, play, but she wanted a team. She wanted a good team. So then when we went on a visit, I really saw that. Everyone was super nice, super friendly.
Yeah, she put a lot of stock in people's like ability to like lead and be good teammates.
Yeah.
Like that was really, really important to her.
Yeah.
Like if
Because you're a
there's
family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she
Yes.
said, like if there's 2 players and they have, similar talent, or even one maybe is even slightly better, she'll still pick the one with the higher character because that's how she builds
I
a team.
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a seller
Yeah.
for me
Yeah.
too. That's
Yes.
so
Yeah.
good.
When we were doing the recruiting process, like when she's first going all the events, she would get like recruited by coaches in like Kansas and
Yeah.
Kentucky and, like all over the place. And at first
Yeah.
she was like, thought about it. She was like, oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And because they were like higher division schools, because Cal Lutheran's Division III. And she was like, that would be really cool to play at the highest level that I can play at, kind of thing. But then after we started, got further into it, started thinking about it, she was like, you know what? She's like, I really would rather, I really want to play softball in college, but I don't want it to be the only reason that I'm going there. I don't want to go to a school in Kentucky just because they want me to play softball there, but I don't really want to live there and I don't know anything, kind of thing.
Right.
So she changed her mind to where she decided, okay, we're just going to pick schools that you really want to go to.
Yeah.
And then we'll just keep emailing those coaches and visiting and see if we can get any traction. So she picked 10 schools, I think.
Yeah.
And she applied to all of them, just regular application, like
Okay.
you're any other student. And then we just emailed the coaches, and she got traction with 2 of the coaches, the 2 she was referring to.
Yeah.
So did you go in, are you going in as a walk-on? Are you going in as a,
Nope.
as a recruit?
Yep.
As a recruit.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
That
Yeah.
is
Well,
amazing.
we'll make
Yeah.
sure we tag them in this.
I
Yes.
love
Yeah.
it.
Do it. Yeah.
This would be great.
Yeah.
That is true.
And your softball field backs up to the baseball field, doesn't it?
For
At Cal Lu.
Cal Lu, yeah.
They're right next to each
Yeah,
other.
they're right next to each other.
Because Ryan, when we were doing the travel ball circuit, we played a lot
We
at
did.
Cal Lu.
Oh, yeah.
interesting.
So that's
Yeah.
a very beautiful little campus right
It
there,
is.
tucked
It's
away
really,
in Thousand Oaks.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's neat.
Yeah.
One of Holly's very good friends actually graduated from
Yes.
Cal Lu.
Oh,
wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is super interesting.
Yeah.
But I do want to hear a little bit how you, or how did you hear about 17 Strong, or how did you hear about Ryan, or
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, I heard about it mostly through my grandparents. They talked
tell us.
a lot about it. They point us towards the podcast. We listen to those.
so you are you've heard the podcast?
Yes, I have.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. But yeah.
They had been to some events for 17 Strong.
Yeah.
So they the ones that first said something and brought you some stuff. Some
Yeah.
17 Strong swag, right? From
Yeah.
when
I have
Oh, fun.
I got a green hoodie when I was
You're pretty young. 10, 11, something, I don't know.
Oh,
Junior
wow.
high.
Yeah,
I don't know.
junior
It was a
high.
while ago.
Yeah,
Junior
it
high,
was a
maybe,
while
junior high.
ago.
Yeah, junior
Yeah.
high maybe. Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really great.
And then, of course, AG.
Yeah.
AG, yeah,
high.
he's
yeah.
kind of and you were in leadership.
Yep.
So, and I know you saw a couple of things that he did in leadership, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw we have these little magnets that Hurtado assigns us jobs to. So we put our little magnet, and then she puts where your job is next to it. And his little magnet is still up on there.
His name.
His
Yeah.
name. She sent me a picture of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But it doesn't have his job on it. It just said
No, it's you put the magnet on the board, and then she writes it
Next to
on
me.
the
Got a
board.
job next
Yeah.
to it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you are
He doesn't have a job. Next
okay. He
Yeah,
doesn't have
yeah.
a job. Yeah, exactly.
He does. It's just a
Yeah.
little bit bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
than that.
Exactly.
Okay, I
It's
get
a big
it.
job now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then how did you figure out, because we had talked, you can't really apply for this scholarship. So how did you figure it out? And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so they had the little scholarship assembly.
That's
So
cool.
they called all the scholarship.
Oh.
But I wasn't, I actually didn't get called to it. And I was walking out of lunch, and Wilson Home was like, "Congratulations on getting the 17 Strong scholarship." And I was like, "What? I got what?" And because I didn't get called to the scholarship assembly.
So no one even,
They forgot to tell her.
like,
Yeah.
you forgot to tell me?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so then I was like, "What?" And so then I was like, so I went to Hurtado, and she was like, "Oh yeah, like you won that." And she's like, "Oh, I remember that you got it, but we didn't send out the notes for you in time." It was like this whole thing. I was like, whatever.
What?
So then I know. And then I went to Miss Boyd, I believe that's her name. She does like the Career Center.
You're like, I got to see if this is legit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. So I went
Yeah.
to her, and she gave me my little packet. Then
Awesome.
She came home. She was so excited.
I was
to
so
tell me.
excited. Yeah.
She was so
awesome.
excited.
That
Like
is
for her,
so
like she
cool.
couldn't have won a cooler scholarship.
Yeah,
like
no,
this.
that's just the coolest one.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, and I have to say, Ryan would have picked Riley. I know 100%.
Oh, because
Riley would, or
you fit Ryan's motto, and that's attitude is everything.
attitude is everything.
You haven't let a disability you were born with, you weren't given a choice in this world, but you haven't let it stop you from anything.
Yeah.
Just slow you down.
Yeah.
Tie in a ponytail.
Yeah.
But
Ponytail man.
it hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much that so many people can learn from that. Have you ever watched the story about Bethany Hamilton?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Isn't she
I
amazing?
mean,
Yeah,
that's
she is.
amazing in and of
That's an
itself.
attitude
and
right there.
you know,
Yeah.
that was a shark that did
Yeah.
that to her.
Yeah.
But you haven't known any different. She had to relearn everything,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
because she
Yeah.
all she knew was
Yeah.
using two hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched her story and I was like, man, I am lucky that I was born this way. Like, I don't think I could have. I mean, I probably could have, but
Yeah.
that would have been a lot harder. Like, there's so much respect to people that lose.
Oh, and she's amazing.
Yeah.
She,
Amazing mom, too.
Amazing mom. She
Yeah.
does the diapers with both of her feet.
With her feet.
and,
Yeah.
I mean,
I was blown
just
away.
Yeah.
amazing.
That's
Blown away. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That was super crazy
So-
just to
Yeah.
hear and see. And I just love that. I
Yeah.
love that because I know that you would be Ryan's friend. I know 100% that Ryan would be like, I need more of Riley in my life. And I'd be like, and I said the same thing. Like, I need to meet this girl. I need to know everything about her. And definitely follow you in the future because
yeah.
I can't wait to see, what else happens and what you do because it's going to be good no matter what. It's going to be good.
Yes,
you know?
thank you.
I just think it's awesome. What else
We're
is
so happy to have you both here. We're going to wrap up this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you for
wish you
having
the
us.
best in your college career and being an occupational therapist.
Yep.
Yes.
We're going to continue to follow you. Lisa, thank you for doing
Thank
an
you
amazing
so
job.
much.
Yes.
This is
raising
amazing.
a wonderful, wonderful daughter
Yeah.
Thank you.
that doesn't know any different. The world needs more people like her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree. It's definitely been more my honor to be her parent. She's
Right.
taught me so much in my life. She's an
Couldn't have
amazing
done
kid.
without her.
I said the same thing about
Yeah.
Ryan. I'm like, there
Yeah.
were so many things that he taught me through it. And I know that we have a mutual friend with Louis Muscardi, and a big shout out to him.
Oh, yes.
We
Muscardi's.
love Louis Muscardi. I
Yeah.
mean, we love him. He was he was part of Ryan's testimony.
Yeah.
So we just love him so much. So
His
I know.
daughter Avery's the same age as Riley, so they
Yep.
played sports together.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get to play with her or against her?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah. When she was at Mission, I got to play against her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, just such I love the community that we live in because they're super supportive and I really can't wait. So it's been an honor to get to know you and hopefully we'll have a great friendship after
Yes.
this.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Yeah, so congratulations on everything and
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for having us. Yeah.
With that, we'll wrap up another 17 Strong podcast. Thanks to all of our listeners. And remember, attitude is everything.
You've been listening to 17 Strong. Victories don't come by accident. To be part of the show, make a donation, or request more information, go to 17strong.org. That's SEVENTEEN strong.org.